Hello, in this group we have Ana Gutierrez, Alexandra Ibarra, and Elizabeth Ardila. First of all, we're going to start with a question about the 5 principles of intercultural language learning and how Mariana evidenced these 5 principles in her experience as a teacher. So she mentions that she understands that it doesn't matter how proficient your English is, you need to be able to communicate clearly what you want to say. Like you focus on the result, right? When we focus on the result, we are willing to talk to people because we want to communicate things clearly. So that's when we interact with people and we also reflect on what we're saying, not on what we want the people to think about us if we have good English or not. We want them to understand and we take responsibility of our words. And so even though you have basic English, you can have a good communication, a good conversation. Um, with foreigners or with native speakers as well. Also, we need to the next principle is we have to make connections like the moment of when the girl told her about the omega for the heart and for the brain. She was making connections, and in a simple way she explained it to her what she needed. um, and the other principle is to have an active construction, so we need to practice every day and continue, um, yeah, to be willing to practice even though we make mistakes. That's when we are doing the active construction every day, we are making progress. And yeah, that's the first part.
The language used in Mr. Mariana Pascal's explanation show us EPA for the hair and the EHA for the brain reflects a social practice. It demonstrated how effective this result stem from clear communication, establishing guidelines for action and mutual understanding in social coexistence. Language goes beyond a mere communication system. It shapes identities and facilitates participation in global society, enabling interaction with people from various cultures. The University of Granada growth oversees the classroom from the systematization of social practice emphasize the social aspect importance. Social practice is defined as knowledge getting practical talks, grounding in reality and subject to the specific files rules acquired through practice. It becomes social weight shared among society members, converging scientists and technical knowledge with daily activities. In a sense, recurring activity aimed at achieving better results.
So the third question is about the cultural and intercultural dimension and how it is related to Mariana's experiences when getting the omega. She didn't know which one to choose, so she went to ask the sales representative, and she was very detailed about it, but she was not being clear, and she ended up not knowing which one to buy. Of course, when it comes to cultural dimension, is how a culture interacts, right? And maybe um, the girl tried to prove that she knew English and she was good at it, and she knew all the terms, and because she wanted to have like this intercultural interaction, but she was thinking about her culture, maybe about what they understand. However, when we try to communicate with foreigners, we need to be we need to understand that we don't think in the same way, and we need to be more direct about what we want to communicate. So that's what the second girl did. So that's when we communicate, we can have these misunderstandings and different manners, different ways of expressing things, and we need to understand that other people are not like us. We need to take into account their experience, their language, their way of understanding, and that's when these dimensions come together and how they work.
From my perspective and on a personal level, We are always afraid of failure. We think a lot about what others can say before believing in ourselves. When we make mistakes, we get discouraged, and that allows advance in our learning process. We must stop thinking that we are going to do everything wrong and what others may say, but it we have to focus is to practice speed when necessary and not evade or shout at for fear of failure, because otherwise we cannot improve our skill to deliver any type of learning. You must have self-confidence and attitude, but a positive one. That if I am wrong or I am not doing things well, I will continue my effort, but I will not abandon my process.